So at this point, you've had Velocity running for a couple of weeks on the machines, and you've been using them as normal, generating a workload. And just really for an example, I've run a test load on both of these machines. I'll just make this one a little bit bigger. So what I was doing was running a stress test for the RAM caching. So you can see a bunch of IO traffic got generated and processed. A good percentage of that was satisfied by Velocity's RAM cache. And I did the same for the other machine over here. And what you can do with the management console is get an aggregated report of all of this dashboard data all in one overall report. So we're going to do that now. So let's make this small again and move it out of the way, and then we'll go back to our management console. So this is our machine that's running the Velocity Management Console. Don't forget that to log on to it, if you're running it locally on this machine, all you need to do is browse to localhost. Okay, it might ask you to log in which case remember that the username is always VMC admin, always uppercase, and the password is whatever you set it to when you installed it. So what you need to do is hit this Select Systems button and make sure that all of the machines that you've had Velocity running on are selected. Now they are here, but maybe you deploy to even more machines in the interim. So to make sure that they're all selected, hit that very first checkbox and it will select all of the systems in one go, and then hit that Save Selection button. Say OK to acknowledge the alert that it might take a minute or so to update the dashboard data, because it's going to grab it from each of the virtual machines. So it's got the very latest data to play with. So we'll say OK. And after a moment or so, now we have the aggregated data from, in this case, both virtual machines, but perhaps you will have had it running on more, showing up in this one dashboard report. So you can see that the total number of IOs eliminated across both machines, or across all of the machines with Velocity on, is shown here. You can see how many read IOs were eliminated, what percentage of the reads were eliminated, and how much storage IO time has been saved. So in order to get this information across to a conducive engineer for more analysis and an engineer's report, here are the steps you need to take. So the first thing is to take a screen capture of this dashboard screen. And the easiest way to do that is with the snipping tool. Okay, so that's a tool that's built into Windows. If you run that and say I want a new snip, and then just drag it over that panel there, that's the one that we want. So now that's showing up as a capture in our snipping tool, and we'll save that to a folder on our drive. I'll put it onto the desktop so that I can find it easily. Velocity dashboard data. So we'll save it in that folder there, and we'll call this first screen dashboard, and just save it as a PNG. So now we want to go back to our management console and click on the next tab called IO Performance. And here we've got other useful information like the average, minimum and maximum for the IOs per second, the throughput in megabytes per second, storage latency, whether the workload's more read heavy or write heavy, how much workload was generated and processed, and how much RAM we've been using for caching with, and so on. If this doesn't all fit on your screen, what you can do is just use the zoom control in whatever browser you're using to make it small enough to fit on the screen. And then what we'll do is use that snipping tool again to create a new screen capture just of that panel there. And then we'll save that to the same folder that we saved our dashboard stats to, and we'll call this IO Performance. Okay. Now, the next thing we need to do is grab data from this third screen here, the analytics screen. Now, this will take a few seconds typically when you open it up, because the JavaScript needs time to generate the bar charts. Now, unfortunately, there's not a lot of data in these bar charts because I've only had velocity running for a few minutes, but the bar charts that you want to capture are these: total IOs eliminated, the IOs per second, the data satisfied from cache, and the storage IO time saved. So let's see if we can get these all on one page by zooming out just a touch. Not quite. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll grab the first couple. So that's the total IOs eliminated and the IOPS, and we'll call that graphs 1. Then we'll scroll down and capture that data satisfied from cache. Oops. There we go. And we'll call that graphs 2. And the final one we want is this one here, the IO time that's been saved. So we'll use our snipping tool to grab that. And we'll call that graphs 3. Good. Now, the final bit of data that's always very useful when doing an analysis of this type is a CSV file containing all of the raw data. So the way to get that is to click this Select Systems button again, and then click this Download Benefits button. Let me make that back to normal size so that it can be seen easily. There we go. So it's this Download Benefits button here, and basically what this is going to do is save all of the information in this table plus some additional information to a text CSV file. So we'll hit that Download Benefits button and say OK to download the file. And then what we'll do is we'll save that in the same folder as the snips that we took in that velocity dashboard data. You can leave the file name as it is and save that. Okay, so now it's been saved. So now we have all of the information to do a full analysis on what velocity's been able to provide over the last 2 weeks you've had it running. So the best thing to do is to make a zip file of that folder that you saved on your desktop, the velocity dashboard data that contains the snips and that CSV file. There we go. So if you right click on the folder name and then do send to compressed zipped folder, you'll see a new file, a zip file gets created on the desktop, and that's the one that you want to email to a Conducive rep. If you want to email it to me directly, my email address is sallingham@conducive.co.uk, and let me put that nice and big on the screen for you. Okay, so my name is Spencer Allingham. I'm the Technical Director for Europe, Middle East and Africa. And my email address is sallingham@conducive.co.uk. All right. So you're very welcome to email the test results to me. I'll be more than happy to do an analysis for you and send you back a written engineer's report containing exactly what the software has been able to achieve. Sometimes I can make recommendations about how to provision the RAM slightly differently to get better results from the RAM caching, but hopefully that will be very helpful in order to see exactly what the software has been able to provide, what benefits it's been able to give you over the couple of weeks that you've had it running. So I hope this session has been helpful, and yeah, look forward to hearing from you. Many thanks. Take care all.